Put the umbrella in your car now. Do it before tomorrow because you will need it at multiple points across the Southeast this coming week.
Are you calling me out because I never have an umbrella when we walk out of the building?
Hey, I'm just dropping information. You can pick it up and do whatever you want with it.
Maybe I'll just pick up your umbrella.
Hey.
Well, Paul is very nice, and he always walks me to my car when it's raining because I never have an umbrella. So I always appreciate him. I always forget mine. It's just something I can never remember. This is the week to remember it. Atlanta seeing some showers right now. Carrollton seeing some showers. This is going to be on and off as we go throughout pretty much the entire day. So we're looking at showers, we're looking at thunderstorms. Jensen, I don't believe my clicker is working, so if you can advance for me, thank you. So let's take a look at the Braves Stadium. So it sits right about there. First pitch is at 1:35 for the Braves game this afternoon. There's the rain coming in at 2 o'clock. Do they get into a rain delay? It is very likely. They actually had to have a doubleheader yesterday because of previous rain delays with other games. So it's been difficult as of late to get any of those outdoor activities in before the rain starts moving in. You're just trying to fit it in these small windows of dry weather. By Sunday evening, so by this evening, we're drying out again before we gear up for another day of rain on Monday. And keep this in mind, if you travel plans, if you have plans to go to the airport, you could be seeing some delays both on the roads and if you're trying to catch a flight. 2 to 3 inches of rain. This is adding to our surplus that we already have. This month, we've seen 5.43 inches of rain at Hartsfield. And if you're thinking, okay, I haven't seen 5.5 inches of rain at my house, that's summertime for you where you get pockets of really heavy downpours, say over the airport, but 5 miles down the road, you're not seeing that same amount of rain. Atlanta Public Schools, you go back to school on August 1st. This is what we were talking about earlier. Way too early, in my opinion, but this is the last full week of summer, and you're facing showers and thunderstorms, so all the kids' activities that you're trying to get in outside, have a backup plan for inside because you likely will need it at some point this week. Let's head to Houston where we're dry right now. We are going to see showers move in at both Bush and Hobby. Could we see some delays later today? It just depends on exactly where these storms move in, exactly where they set up, which is impossible to determine when it comes to the summertime and you get that kind of pop-up atmosphere. But lightning, thunder, heavy rain, and Houston, this is going to be a wet week for you too, all the way through Friday. 3 to 4 inches of rain, maybe even some spots seeing more.
Welcome you into our virtual view of Philadelphia, where we're going to be nice and sunny for today, and then we're going to start to see some change in the forecast. So we're going to start to see those showers and those thunderstorms. That's going to start as we head towards your tomorrow, and we're going to be dealing with those highs in the mid to upper 80s. So there's the forecast for Philly as we go in through your Monday, your Tuesday, your Wednesday. Yes, you see the rain in the forecast there, and then we'll start to dry things out a little bit more as we head towards your Friday. But temperatures are going to stay in those mid to upper 80s pretty much across the board there. So that's what we have on tap there. Let's talk about what's going on elsewhere, right? Because right now around Somerset, we are dealing with some shower activity across that area, but most of the Northeast is on the drier side. Bangor, you're at 66 degrees, dealing with a couple of showers coming in across the area. And for today, a lot of you enjoy it because, again, the change is definitely going to be coming. We've been dealing with a little bit cooler temperatures out there, and also the dew points have been on the lower side as well. In terms of the temperatures, we're going to the low to mid 80s. We're looking at this around Chicago, Detroit for today, Indianapolis. And once again, you heard me talk about that humidity. Well, the dew points are on the lower side of things, so we're looking at those numbers in the 50s around Buffalo, around Pittsburgh, Burlington. But yes, things are going to start to change as we work our way in through the start of your work week. So this is what we have as we go early in through the work week. That moisture is going to continue to surge on off to the north. We're going to be watching what Canada is going to be bringing us. Yes, those little disturbances, and with that, we will see rounds of rain as we go through mid to late week. So just be prepared for that. Make sure you do have that umbrella handy because you're going to need it. In terms of how much rain still to come Tuesday through Friday, the worst of it really will be down off towards the south around Virginia, Paul. And we actually had plenty of flash flood warnings across that area yesterday.
And
the evacuation order being one of the most important because fires can spread rapidly and they can surround your home within a matter of minutes. Now, one factor that is part of the wildfire story in the West right now is how hot it's been. And this is the beginning of the summer. Meteorological records for summer start on June 1st. We've had the #1 hottest summer for everywhere that you see on the map, from Redding all the way down to Phoenix. I mean, look at some of these average temperatures, like Phoenix, close to 99 degrees. We're still in the middle of the heat wave for parts of the desert Southwest and even extending all the way up to the Pacific Northwest, where we're going to see triple digits as far north as Spokane. But there is a small pattern change that's on the way. You can see the jet stream that's way up into Canada. It starts to move to the east, and you see this small part of the jet stream that's diving down. That's eventually going to move over the Pacific Northwest and provide some of us with relief from the heat, but it's not going to be everyone. Areas like California, as well as Las Vegas and Phoenix, you're still going to be baking in the heat because that small section of the jet stream is not going to dive that far down to the south. Meanwhile, today and through tomorrow, excessive heat warnings, Las Vegas, around the Los Angeles area, but not in Los Angeles. We have a heat advisory, but then stretching all the way up through Spokane, where our high today is going to be really close to the all-time record high for Spokane. I mean, we're well into the triple digits. And a good reminder this time of year that you never leave anybody in a car, even if you think it's just going to be 5 minutes, it's just going to be 10 minutes inside the store. Look what can happen after 10 minutes. Even when the temperature, like in Seattle, is only 81, it can feel like 100 just after 10 minutes alone. Today, our high in Spokane, 106. Our all-time record high is 109, so we're getting very close to that all-time record. And of course, Lynette, things just continue to bake in Las Vegas, as well as Palm Springs and over to Phoenix.
All right, Molly, weekend recharge is powering up.
Is the biggest weather killer out there. People are more concerned, even more concerned about sharks.
Right, sharks. People, you know, very concerned about tornadoes, and rightfully so. Yeah. They can be dangerous and deadly, and hurricanes, but it's heat that I think is the one that, you know, just human nature you underestimate. Yeah,
because we always think, oh, I can just go inside, but sometimes you don't. And it's still a concern because we're seeing our changing climate. Things are getting hotter, more wilder extremes, including the heat as well, because we're even right now across much of the West, we have excessive heat warnings, heat advisories all across the region. And it's supposed to be hot in July, yes, but when you have these watches and warnings, it's unusually hot, and it's been that way for quite some time. So it now poses concerns.
And you combine the heat, and now it's been pretty dry in parts of the West, and you've got red flag warnings for wildfire danger, which we've seen the wildfire activity pick up pretty dramatically over the last couple of weeks. It's very similar timing to seeing all the heat pick up.
Yeah, so we have the dry conditions, very dry air, and gusty winds. Not to mention the heating helps to make more wind as well. The good news is seeing some relief across the immediate coastline, so humidity's up, onshore flow, but look at the dew points in the interior. Molly, this is just tinder dry air.
It really is. You combine that with the type of heat that we're seeing. 106 in Spokane, Burns right at that century mark. Boise 107. I mean, this is intense heat for this part of the country where not everybody has air conditioning.
No, but also we receive enough moisture to give us the clouds and onshore flow, but in the interior it dries out, so we have the concern of isolated dry thunderstorms, and that could spark more fires.
So you're thinking dry thunderstorm, what does that mean? That doesn't make any sense. You have the thunderstorm that forms, but you've got all that dry air underneath it, so the rain doesn't ever reach the ground. Instead, you're only getting the lightning that's reaching the ground.
Across the southeast, we have low clouds, so the rain is gully washers, but out here in the west, it's more high base clouds, which means more drier air coming in here, evaporating the rain, which doesn't reach the ground. But that lightning, you cannot evaporate that, and that could spark more wildfires.
So let's look at some of the lightning intensity forecasts as we're expecting these storms to move onshore. You can see they pick up, of course, in the afternoon, as you would expect, right in those areas that we have some of the driest air in place. Lynette? A picture-perfect weekend. I mean, I've seen some pictures of Lake Michigan, and I'm so jealous. It just looks phenomenal. But Chicago, that's coming to an end because not only are we heating up, but the storms are coming back in, too.
Exactly. So as we head towards your Tuesday evening, we'll start to see those thunderstorms move into the area. Temperature-wise, we're going to be in those 60s. Not too bad out there. We're going to break from the temperatures, that's for sure, and we're already seeing that break there. Look what's going on across the Northeast. A break there as well, and the humidity. To me, it's the humidity and the fact that these dew points are in the 50s. Oh, I will take it all day, every day.
Such a treat in July. If you haven't had a chance to get outside and enjoy it, make today your day, because getting 50 dew points in the summertime, it just doesn't happen very often. We will see the moisture surge return to the north. Of course, that's going to fuel our downpours. It's going to fuel our storms. That meets up with a disturbance from Canada, also bringing the energy to provide us with the storms.
Exactly. So what that means is that we're going to see rounds of showers and thunderstorms as we go in through mid to late next week. And we can see the heaviest stuff is in places really where we don't need it. We had plenty of flash flooding yesterday in Virginia, and we're going to add those totals up even more.
That's why we have the flash flooding zone outlined from areas all the way up into Maine, stretching clear down into parts of the southeast. And it's those suspect zones that we've been talking about several times for the past couple of weeks, really.
Yeah, so as we go into next week, make sure you Love
the pink captain's hat. That was awesome.
Yeah, girl power.
You're going to need all the hats, sunscreen, maybe some of those sun protection shirts today, because the UV index, it's pretty high in places like Florida, of course, over to Houston, Corpus Christi, even the Georgia coastline and parts of the Carolina coastline.
Exactly. It's extreme, so you can burn just like that. So make sure you reapply, get in the pool, reapply. We're talking about rip current forecast for today as well. And as we look across the coast here, the eastern side, we can see what's going on. We're high up towards Wilmington, down off towards the south here, Miami, Daytona Beach. We're on the moderate side. Bottom line is that we have the rip currents, and you need to watch those flags.
But even if it's a low risk, it still doesn't mean no risk. And so, you know, always check with the lifeguard if it is a beach that has a lifeguard. Green means the lowest risk. Again, doesn't mean no risk. And that typically means you've got a calm, clear day. You get to yellow flag. You know, personally, Lynette, I don't think I would swim on a yellow flag in the water.
Yeah, I probably wouldn't either. But no, if you're a strong swimmer, but still, that kind of makes me nervous. And of course, if we're talking about the red flag, the single red flag, that means that there's serious hazards, dangerous surf and currents, and avoid if you're not a strong swimmer.
Double red means beach is closed, you can't get in the water, and if you do, you might find that you get fined.
Exactly.
A pretty big fine for putting not only your life at risk, but potentially first responders as well. Let's look at some of the forecasts. Pensacola, we've got a good chance of rain this afternoon with that water temp. 87, even hotter than our actual air temp.
So how do you feel about that? Like, I don't like bath water. Some people like it. I don't like necessarily
I would like my water to be a little bit on the cooler side, but I like the Goldilocks temperatures. I don't want it too cold, but I don't want it too hot.
I call it the baby bear forecast. Look at Clearwater, Florida. We have the 40% chance of rain. The water temperature at 90 degrees.
Woo. And watch out for those thunderstorms, especially in the afternoon. Miami Beach, good looking forecast with temperatures close to 90 today, and not as much of a chance for rain as what we're seeing on the Gulf side.
All right, there is still. We do. Look at all these low to medium impact that we're going to be seeing as we go through today. We can see this down off towards Florida, Atlanta. We're looking at this up towards Nashville as well. Plenty of rain coming in and thunderstorms that could affect the commute.
And you might find that if there's not a thunderstorm right over the airport, but there's thunderstorms nearby, it's taking the planes longer to get in because they're having to fly all the way around. But that's good if you're a nervous flyer because they don't fly right through the thunderstorms.
Exactly. Now, if you're not going to be flying and you're going to be driving, yes, you're going to be driving through some thunderstorms as well. All the interstates are really going to be on the wet side of things. So we will have those scattered thunderstorms, damaging gusty wind, and we have to watch out for the ponding on the roadways, the local flooding.
It can happen quick when you have this kind of atmosphere that's very tropical right now, and you bring in these showers and thunderstorms. It feels like, Lynette, sometimes the sky just falls out right on top of you when you're driving, and it can cause visibility to drop pretty rapidly too.
Yeah, so as we go through this evening, we can see those thunderstorms around Ackworth, around Atlanta. We will get a break in Atlanta for today, but the thunderstorms will continue to come back as we go throughout the day.
Nashville, we start to see the storm activity pick up around lunchtime. That continues and it becomes more widespread as we get to the evening rush time. Thankfully, it is the weekend still, so hopefully people can just stay put instead of getting out on the roadways. But I know we're trying to fit in those last-minute summer plans before school starts so soon.
Yeah, so as we go into the evening around Tampa, again, some thunderstorms still lingering across that area. But Bradenton looks pretty good. Temperatures, I can't get that out of mind, though. Quite hot.
I mean, you know, when you add in the humidity, it feels so much hotter in Florida. So traveling on Florida, you know, it's going to be traveling in Florida, I should say, it's going to be one of those days that you have to be careful of the downpours, and you could likely see them in the distance. You know, the dark clouds on the horizon, you're dry, and all of a sudden you drive into this thunderstorm and you have to put your windshields on full blast. People are putting their foot on the brake. It's going to be a bit of a mess.
Exactly. Your clouds tell you everything.